When I was looking into Percy's background, it was made clear by the iOS book that in the railway series, he was potentially built by Avonside, while having parts from that of Hunslet and Peckett. His origins being, while unknown, and making him sound like a hodgepodge sounds interesting, but I want my Percy to not be a Frankenstein. My alternate approach to him is that he's still an 040 saddle tank engine, albeit built in 1918 for the Ffarquhar Quarry, becoming its #1, and he does keep his name, Percy, but it was only used as a nickname, and it became official when he joined the NWR. I like to think somewhere in the 1920s, notably 1921, he was fitted with trailing wheels due to how unbalanced he looked when he was shunting. I was compelled to add trailing wheels on Percy when I was using a photo of Hot Wheels clock number 1435 as reference for drawing out my ideal Percy. And when I was looking at it, there was a massive gap at the back of the 4 driving wheels, and to me it makes him look very unbalanced. So that's what compelled me to add the training wheels for Percy. I was originally going to have Percy wear linings similar to that of BR locomotives when they wore BR black. However, I decided that the Ffarquhar Quarry should have their own unique livery, so I replaced it with yellow instead, albeit a very industrial type of yellow, well, if it is industrial. When Thomas got his Branchline, Titmuth was left without a station pilot, so the Northwestern Railway had its director, so Tom searched for engines to purchase and run as station pilot. That engine would turn out to be Percy, Ffarquhar Quarry's #1. He would be sent to Crowensgate's works to be repainted into Northwestern blue and gain the number 206 as a bonus, being given a name. While his name remained as Percy, his last name was Keller, named after a child who went missing. Percy would be the station pilot until 1929, when Doug came onto the railway, since Percy's work as station pilot started to become too much for him, as he was more used to the industrial work rather than shunting in towns and cities. Since he was an industrial engine, Percy was mostly put on goods work, even often at times shunting at Ffarquhar Quarry just to help out every once in a while. As Thomas handled passenger trains with his 2 faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabelle, and Tobias, with her faithful coach, handled mixed traffic duties between passengers and stone trains. While I could have Percy maintain his green livery, I had to come to the conclusion that since I made a standard for my version of Northwestern Railway that all the locomotives must be painted blue unless they have a good reason for it otherwise, Percy must remain blue. But I don't think having Percy blue isn't such a bad thing. Like, hey, what's wrong with it? This is my ideal take on Percy. Next up, Toby, and then Bear.